Uh, One of the things I keep saying that our politicians are not being careful enough. They are literally feeding into the nonsense which is being pumped out 24 hours a day on Russian media. We can think of, I can think of particularly my arch enemy Zeynalova, who was a most extraordinarily disreputable anchor, and she did some interviews with me and dubbed completely fake words into my mouth. So I have good reason to disapprove of the Russian television network system. But there's also people, significantly bigger people like Olga Skabayeva. Olga Skabayeva is the person who took it on herself to say that what has escalated now may safely be called World War III. Definitely. We are fighting against NATO, she had said. Olesieva, Lesova, no, there's a really good one. There's a person called Yevgeny Popov. Yevgeny Popov, I think yesterday or the day before, claimed that he was doing an interview with Andrei Isayev, and Andrei Isayev is a pretty useless member of the Duma of the Russian Parliament. In fact, I think he was castigated not so long ago for having a fight. The fisticuffs in the chamber or just outside the chamber. Anyway, he was suspended for a while, but he's now one of the sort of golden boys, the amount of vile commentary that he's really got it in for the UK. He thinks the UK is worse than the US. And Yevgeny Popov, at the end of this extraordinary video, extraordinary TV clip, decides that we stole the idea of fish and chips from Russia. Now, I recall explaining on a number of occasions that fish and chips, as a combination of the fish and chips, sort of comes into London from the Jewish tradition of gefilte fish and the Irish tradition of eating potatoes, and the two are sort of blended in London. I don't understand where the Russian idea comes from, but the idea of white fish, gefilte fish possibly, that is certainly Slavic, or at least it is Jewish, and you can see that tradition being brought across with the refugees. Fish and chips is no more English than so many other things than indeed no more English than Windsor Castle built by Normans. There we are. We are so indebted to the wonderful inventions of refugees and asylum seekers, and what today we call migrants. And I don't fully understand where the term migrant has come from. If somebody can explain it, I'd be really excited to hear. But I think it's a term, particularly the term illegal migrant. I think that's something which has started to be worked up in the last 10 years. And I have looked and looked and looked for the first instance of the term illegal migrant. I cannot find it. Anyway, please have fun and do subscribe to the channel. Please press on a like. Please ring the bell, and please leave your comments below, particularly if you know of the origins of the term illegal migrant, which I don't think is true. I don't think it exists. Actually, just think about this. If you are an asylum seeker or seeking refuge, you are only illegal once your asylum has been rejected and you decide to stay in the country. Then maybe you are illegal. At that point, you cannot really be a migrant. Maybe you can. Maybe you can at that point be a migrant. But you aren't an illegal migrant for the way that you get into the country. It might be an irregular route, but you are not an illegal migrant, particularly if you're claiming asylum or refugee status. What we need to do to deal with the vast number of people coming across the channel, of people coming into our country, is to improve the system in the Home Office. We need not to be giving money to France, not to be giving money to Rwanda, though of course it would be very generous of us to give money to Rwanda, but We need to be using that money to employ more people in the Home Office so they can actually do their job efficiently and effectively. Simple.